everyone, it's Jessica Dipzinski, and I'm really excited for another round of Close to My Heart Twisted Sisters. So for this hop, what we do is take a new product from Close to My Heart and show a twisted way of using it. I've decided to work with this. This is the Hey Handsome Card Making Workshop Kit, and I originally had an idea for this little pocket piece, but once I started making my cards, I totally changed gears, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But here's a quick glance at that card making workshop. It comes with these full color instructions that are very easy to follow. I have already gone ahead and made all 16 of my cards, so you get 4 each of the 4 designs. I did add a few personal touches to most of them, like stacking up a couple of die cuts or adding some actual stitching to either the buttons or the collars. On these ones here, I love this that it looks like a jeans pocket. I did stamp a different sentiment than what was actually called for in the directions. This one I think I did exactly as it was intended, but really easy to make those cards, and now I have 16 cards ready to go. But I'm going to show you a twist using the die cuts that come with this set. So I have this one photo here. It's just the one that I happened to snap on the day that my daughter got her first glasses this past fall. And I wanted to cut out a whole bunch of different glasses out of some different cardstock colors. So I found the easiest way was to take a 3 3/4 inch piece of by 12 piece of cardstock, cut it in half of that 6 inches, glue those 2 pieces together so that I could have a little bit more dimension on those glasses. And then I could get 8 cuts out of that one 3 3/4 by 6 inch piece. And then, like I said, they're already stacked up 2 pieces of cardstock thick, just to add a nice little bit of dimension there. So I end up with 8 of each of the colors that I have here: papaya, peach, honey butter, mist, and peacock, which is a retired color. And then once I kind of laid them out in the way I was thinking about using them, I felt like I needed a little bit more to eat up some of that white space. So I went digging through my stash and I found this little dot stamp from the Crisp Air Card Making stamp set. And I'm going to stamp behind it, I think, in each of the same colors. And then I still wanted to do something with all of that white space at the top of my layout. So again, digging through my stash, I found this little scrap piece of paper that I had left over from the Hope and Kindness paper collection from Close to My Heart. And I play around quite a bit, you'll see, trying to figure out a way maybe to use that. They're not all the exact same colors in those stripes, but they are close enough. Some of them are the same, but not all of them. And I think it ends up working with the colors that I have cut out for all of my different glasses. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and stamp those dots all the way across, doing a little bit of tone on tone. So I'll have a stamp of peacock across the bottom, and then I'll move on to the mist color, and so on and so forth until I have made a rainbow. And it looked really cool when I was done. Like I said, I just thought that maybe those glasses needed something to kind of fill the space behind them. Now, originally when I picked this particular stamp set and card workshop to do for my twist for this hop, I was thinking about using that pocket die cut as a banner. I thought that it would make a really fun, like, little banner across a scrapbook page. It doesn't have to be a pocket, and so that's where I was going to go. But then when I first cut out those glasses to make my cards, all I could think about was rainbow glasses, and I'm like, I want to do a project that has like a whole bunch of different colors of these glasses together. And then I remembered this picture that I had taken on the day that we picked up her glasses when they were ready, and I just had to make it so that I could get it out of my head. So I totally changed gears, but I see lots of opportunities for this particular card making workshop, ways to use it once you are done making those 16 cards. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of liquid glue behind my glasses. I did work carefully to make sure that my first pair that I put down at the bottom of the page were centered. And then it worked out perfectly to have 5 pairs of glasses along in a strip. And then I staggered every other line so that they weren't too matchy-matchy, and it worked out perfectly. I was able to cut one of the die cuts in half on the strips that were like offset from the first one. So only 5 glasses for each, and so now I still have some that I can play with for another project. So I'm back to this piece here. This is from that Hope and Kindness collection from Close to My Heart in a scrap that I had. And I kind of play around with it a little bit. I'm not really sure. I know I want to add something. There's a lot of white space there. It took me a while to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. I was like, they're not the same colors in the stripes. Some of them are the same, like the peach and the papaya, but the rest are different. I think they coordinate well enough though, but maybe I don't want to put them right next to each other. But I don't know if I like that going all the way to the top either. And then I also tried maybe just kind of what would happen if I cut like a tinier strip and set it at the top of the page. Nope, that's still way too much white space. I don't think I want to do that. And then as I keep flipping it over, I notice that there is a little strip on the back side in that papaya color. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. And that way I have a pattern piece in papaya. And maybe that would be a nice stopping point up there at the top above those stripes. So that's my thought. And then I went looking through my stamps here. And again, from that Hope and Kindness collection, apparently that was really the collection coming to the rescue here for this layout. I have this stamp set and it says beautiful, and I wanted to use it because you could die cut out the word beautiful. And then this was a happy accident. I had already like stamped and die cut out a bunch of the florals that were along with the stamp set, and I just stored them in that little envelope. And so when I went to open it up and I dumped them all out, I was like, well, what if I started sticking these down here? And at first I thought, oh, that's a lot of coloring, but I actually really liked them in the black and white. So I ended up leaving them black and white. I think that kind of works just because there are so many other colors happening on this layout already. And so, yeah, that was kind of a happy accident. I wasn't planning on doing those floral clusters with that stamp set, but it just kind of ended up working out. And I'm glad that I already had those prepared and I didn't really have to work on that part. So yes, I'm much happier having that strip there of papaya. I think that helps to kind of stop the stripes from like running off the edge of the page. I don't know, I kind of play around a little bit with, should I put something else up there? But I think that it's already getting busy enough. It's really quite busy at this point. Like you can see, I'm just really, do I put something else up there? I feel like there's still a little bit too much with the white space, but I don't want to add another piece of paper. So while I'm thinking about that, I decide, well, I think I'm going to do it. And then I kind of like stop. I'm like, am I going to do this? Yes, I am going to go ahead and tear my paper just to add a little bit of interest to that striped piece. I wanted the white core to show, so I pulled the tear towards me. And then once I was done, I just took my fingers and kind of ruffled it up a little bit and pushed down where those edges were just to add a little bit of distressing. And then off camera, I will adhere all that down after I add a little bit of stamping up there. I decided to use that same dotted stamp set from this Crisp Air card making set, and I'm going to use the papaya color and just have a little bit of those dots peeking out of the top of my papers. And I think that's going to solve my problem of feeling like there's kind of a lot of empty space up there. So I'll take a minute and just kind of go through and do this. And then, like I said, glue all of that down. Okay, so I'm pretty sure at this point that I'm going to go ahead and stick with those black and white stamped floral die cuts and just kind of create a larger cluster up in the top right-hand corner and then a smaller one down here in the bottom left-hand corner. And again, such a happy accident. I was really glad that those fell out of the envelope, and I was like, hey, let's use those. All right, I did off camera also stamp and die cut out the beautiful from that set and then the words "you are." And then I am a little low on my thin 3D foam tape. So I had a bunch of scrap strips of white daisy sitting next to my desk. So I just started cutting them up and then gluing them to the back of my picture here. And that way I don't actually have to pop it up on any foam tape, but I'm still popping it up. And actually it worked out really well because, let's be honest, I love my foam tape, but I would never be this generous behind anything and totally cover the back of it with foam tape. So it ended up being really stable and nice and full, popped up like that, but I didn't have to go through that much foam tape to do it. So that worked out really well. And then starts the part where I really feel the need to fuss with the title. I went ahead and stamped a couple of journaling lines because I knew that those were going to go over to the right of the photo. And I also toyed with the idea of maybe adding a little cluster coming out from that ripped paper. But the problem is that actually that beautiful doesn't quite fit. Like if I turn it on an angle, I can fit it in that white space, or I could, go ahead and pop it up a little bit so that part of it is layered over the photo. But I don't know, there was just something about having it in that white space that I wasn't loving. Again, I think it's because this is getting to be a really busy page. There's a lot to look at here. So I decided to move it up into the striped area and then just leave that space to the left of the photo as mostly white. I'm going to add a couple of gold glitter gems here, just, to kind of sprinkle around. But I think it's okay having that white space there just as a place to let your eyes rest. So this wasn't entirely what I had envisioned in my mind when I kind of set out with my rainbow glasses idea, but I am pleased with the way that it turned out. And I did have only this one photo to document this memory of my daughter's first pair of glasses. And I was really excited that I was able to use that Hey Handsome card making workshop in a way different from what was intended for it. So make sure to check back over the next week. There are a bunch of different Close to My Heart makers who are going to be twisting some of the new products from the Close to My Heart catalog. Also going today are Adele April, Just Say Scrap. Tomorrow we've got Katie Weeks and Sandy Zimmer. And then, like I said, for the next week, a bunch of people coming one right after the other. So make sure to check back in the description box down below to follow along on all of their twists. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed. Happy crafting. Bye.